So, Nathaniel.
Yes.
We got about 96 tracks in the current Mario Kart game that we've been playing for about the past 30 years. And that just kind of makes me think, what's going to happen in the next one? Because we've had retro courses in the Mario Kart series represented in the newest entry for almost as long as the Mario Kart series has been around. At least starting with Super Circuit, somewhat, kind of a soft launch in Super Circuit, but truly starting in DS.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like they just pulled all the courses from Super Mario Kart. Like, Super Circuit's kind of like this weird hybrid between, like, half remake of Mario Kart, half its own game. But DS has the current iteration of retro tracks that we know today. 16 new, 16 retro. And then Mario Kart 8 came along and just ripped everything we knew about retro tracks away from us. And now it's just kind of anything goes.
Yeah.
Anything goes. Because back in the day, it used to be, at least in DS, I believe in DS, it was like 4 from each entry. Mm-hmm. It was very, very consistent.
Oh, I used to know the math by heart. Because when Mario Kart 8 was coming out, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to try to figure out exactly what the new retro tracks are. So yeah, like DS, it was very even. 4 SNES, 4 64, 4 Super Circuit, yada, yada, yada. And then Wii kind of started to break the rhythm a little bit, but it made sense because there was more games. And then 7 broke the rhythm more. Then 8, we started to see double repeats. Like Yoshi's Circuit got made like 3 times. And then SNES Rainbow Road has been remade, I think, 4 times now. So now, like, anything goes.
And they specifically took tracks and remade them when they were not remade previously before. So it just kind of felt like when we got to Mario Kart 8, I think the retro track selection in Mario Kart 8 is quite good, but it also kind of feels like they were scraping the bottom of the barrel. There were a lot of, at least in the base game. Then when we go to the DLC, that's when they started to do those repeats, you know, things that were remade in Mario Kart DS, Baby Park, Yoshi Circuit.
It was all the fan favorites.
Yeah, and then we got Booster Course Pass, which was based mostly on Mario Kart Tour, and Mario Kart Tour is basically just like, it's nothing but retro tracks, or at least it mostly was for a bit there. And they sprinkled in some new stuff here and there. But the Booster Course Pass definitely throws a wrench into what maybe the next Mario Kart will have in terms of a retro track selection. So that's kind of just what I want to talk about here. You know, what do you think the retro tracks are going to look like in the base Mario Kart 9 or Mario Kart 10?
I mean, it's going to be difficult because Nintendo has given us now 96 tracks, as far as we know, unless they do even more DLC after this, because Mario Kart 8's selling so well. But let's just say, you know, they actually stop at Wave 6. 96 tracks, so like, what are they supposed to do? I think there's a couple different things they can do. They can do exactly what they did before, 16 new, 16 retro. Something that I've been kind of thinking about is what they might potentially do is give us 32 brand new tracks for whatever the new Mario Kart's going to be called. And then for DLC, they're dropping 4 to 8 retro tracks every few months, just like they've been doing with the Booster Course Pass. And maybe that's what they end up doing. Just because at this point, like, they have to, you know, top themselves again. And that's going to be incredibly challenging for them to do after what they've been giving us through Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
Which I think is a fair idea, mainly because, I mean, like, we just got this, like, literally 48 tracks of just nothing but nostalgia, nothing but the classics, you know, like, these old tracks.
And the tour tracks, too.
With a couple here and there. But for the most part, you know, like, it's like, how can we not be like satisfied with that to some extent? So it's just like, for the next game, focusing mostly on just new content, I think would be pretty cool. And then for the older content, you know, maybe you subscribe to Nintendo Switch Online, like with this one, maybe it's included in some kind of a tier with that, or if it's just like they turn Mario Kart into a true service game where it's just for the next few years, hey, drip feed some old tracks every couple of months. I think that might be a fair direction to go in, but for the sake of this discussion, I feel like maybe we could just kind of pick a number of, like, a core number of, like, what we think will be like a base, like what's coming back in this game, like the 16 retro tracks. Maybe if we go by previous game logic, what would be the 16 retro tracks out of all of the games that we have currently that they would pick to represent, like, the 4 retro cups or something? Or maybe like they expand it and do 32 retro tracks this time, 32 new, 32 retro. I think it would be fun to kind of just take a look at what we have, because anything's on the table, and pick which ones they bring back.
What's so fun about this is that Nintendo has been so willing to push the boundaries with their old stuff Like, just look at any of the Super Circuit tracks in Mario Kart 8. Cheeseland, Ribbon Road, Boo Lake, Snowland. They're basically brand new tracks, and that's awesome. So it's like, we could pick stuff from those older games. Like, let's say we want SNES Vanilla Lake 2 for some reason. That could be a fair prediction.
Two.
Yeah, two is better than 1. We could pick that one if we wanted. And then, hey, you know what? Nintendo could give us a really, really cool track out of that. Like, who knows?
Yeah, the retro tracks I remember back in, like, Mario Kart Wii, they always kind of disappointed me just because they felt nearly ported from the game. At least like back then, from a child's perspective. Nowadays, I can play Mario Kart Wii and I can see like, oh, they actually went in and they
did
fix it, like remaster these. Yeah, but back then, you know, playing N64 Bowser's Castle, it does feel kind of like, you know, a little blockier, a little lesser. Mario Kart 8 though, like the retro tracks felt on par with, you know, the base game, which was amazing. I would love to just see that continue in the next Mario Kart. Booster Course Pass, I mean, like every now and then, you know, like it's kind of like, you know, like kind of in terms of the quality, or sometimes it just kind of feels like ported directly from 7 or Tour.
Yeah.
But it's still really nice to see them, and we still get kind of like that nice, a bit of that HD polish on them. But either way, I feel like the next Mario Kart's gonna push it even further. And it's just gonna feel like wow, like maybe some of these are just like flat out unrecognizable from their previous incarnations.
I'd be fine with that.
Yeah, but I kind of want to start with something a little interesting. What Mario Kart 8 tracks do you think they would bring back? What do you think would be the Mario Kart 8 tracks they would pick? As in, like, okay, like we need maybe 2, 3, or 4 tracks from Mario Kart 8. Which ones are they picking? Because it kind of feels like they pick, like, for the next game, they pick the most popular titles from the previous game.
Yeah.
Mario Kart 7 to Mario Kart 8, we got Music Park, we got DK Jungle. What were the other ones from the base game? Piranha Plant Slide?
Maybe it was Piranha Plant Slide. Yes, that's it. I mean, even just, like, thinking of Mario Kart 7 tracks in general, they brought back, including the Booster Course Pass, like, it's really getting to be a lot, because they brought back the 3DS Rainbow Road as well. Pretty awesome. Gosh, in terms of, like, regular... You know what's actually really hard to pick, because there are so many amazing Mario Kart 8 tracks. Like, for me, I'd want half of them to return. Like, I feel like Mount Wario, that's a must. Electrodome, that's a must.
Yeah, I'm looking at these and I'm like, oh yeah, that one's a lock, but then I look at the rest of them and I'm just like, ah, damn.
They're all so good.
First up, I know for a fact what probably won't come back. I'm gonna say Bone Dry Dunes. No. That's just like, who cares? Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 8 is it's not a bad track, but I just feel like it's so underwhelming for like Mario Kart 8 is the game. It's the whole gimmick is anti-gravity. You have the big track in space, and Mario Kart 7 just like blew us out of the water, and then the Mario Kart 8 variant is just kind of like, it's just not very exciting. So no, get that one out of there.
Yeah, definitely not. It's so funny now that I'm like really thinking about this, because I remember, because I was making Mario Kart content before Mario Kart 8 even came out, and I remember I did like a top 10 on like my favorite Mario Kart 7 tracks, and I was like, oh wow, the 3DS Rainbow Road is so good. I wonder how the Wii U one's gonna be amazing, and it turns out it was like just fine. It was just okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and they saved it to the very end.
Yeah.
They saved it to the very end during like their Mario Kart 8 Direct. I think that's when they showed it off. And yeah, I mean, I think the concept is kind of cool, you know, space station and all that.
I like the split roads is kind of cool, but I feel like they didn't do enough with it, because like, it would have been really cool if you could hop back and forth between the roads like constantly and try to find like the fastest route that way and still keep the roads really wavy, because there was really only like 1 or 2 spots where you could swap or like alternate what sides of the roads you're on. So I don't know.
Well, it's also because Mario Kart DS's Rainbow Road has this moment where it's pretty much like anti-gravity. It's almost like a Hot Wheels track where it's just like you go, or like a Sonic the Hedgehog loop, where it's just like you go through this loop and back down. That would have been awesome to see back. There's a couple of stages in Mario Kart DS that I'm kind of like, why wasn't this? Even like Figure 8 Circuit. I know that's super boring, but it's also like, it's Mario Kart 8.
Yeah.
It's just like, you have the Figure 8. Like, why not? They could have also remade it and make it amazing, but I don't know.
I mean, they basically did that, because like the Mario Circuit in Mario Kart 8 is pretty much just a Figure 8. So like, why not just bring back the Mario Kart DS version and then do something more interesting.
Yeah, because like I love what they did with GBA Mario Circuit in Mario Kart 8. It's a very basic track, but it's a cozy track. It's a very comfortable track. I love the GBA SNES style like blocks that they put up, and how they like lift up that portion of the track with like the Ultra Hand.
Yeah, that was cool.
It's like one of my comfort tracks in Mario Kart 8. I like a good circuit track if it's not too boring, and that's one of them. And I feel like they could have done something similar with Figure 8 Circuit. But either way, for Mario Kart 8, you're thinking Mount Wario, Electrodrome.
Yeah.
One of the ones that I saw that I immediately thought of, it's not like my favorite course, but I just feel like this one would get brought back immediately. It'll be Cloud Top Cruise. That one just feels like it would get brought back.
Yeah, that course is awesome. I mean,
yeah,
driving through clouds, hop onto a ship, drive into a literal thunderstorm. I mean, that's sick. It's really cool.
And just because it's not my favorite in Mario Kart 8 doesn't mean I don't think it's incredible. Like, pretty much, like, when I say a track isn't my favorite in Mario Kart 8, like, I seriously think 8 has, like, one of the best base, like, new course track list in the series. It's incredible.
The only track that I would consider kind of boring in Mario Kart 8 is basically just Bone Dry Dunes in Mario Kart Stadium, and that's about it. Like, everything else has something really interesting to offer. Even though we were like kind of crapping on the Rainbow Road, like even that is still like, it's still at least a new idea.
I think it starts to fall apart with like only a couple of like the new DLC courses. Ice Ice Outpost is a bit bland. Wild Woods is okay. The Super Bell Subway is fine.
Oh, I love that. I personally love that track.
I like the theme. It's never been like a super favorite of mine. But yeah, I mean like a couple of the DLC tracks I just think are like, they're okay. But what else do you think? Because, like, I'm also looking, like, some of these, like, I'm just thinking, like, that's what I think of when it comes to Mario Kart 8. Like, Toad Harbor, I think of a lot, like, when I have to come up with a Mario Kart 8 track.
If I had to think of, like, one or two more, probably one of the third-party tracks, because I have a really big feeling that the next thing that's going to happen in Mario Kart is we're just going to start getting Nintendo characters. Like, see Kirby, Fox, Captain Falcon, maybe, if we're lucky. I think that's going to be like one of the big things that Nintendo does, because at this point, I don't really know what else they can do to really push the series forward, besides introduce more Nintendo characters. Like, still primarily include Mario, but there's so many Nintendo characters that they can throw in here. So I feel like something like Mute City, or even just like Hyrule Circuit, would be like a definite track to like remake and bring back.
Yeah, that's just what I'm thinking, you know, because like we haven't pulled from any of the DLC.
I mean, personally, I'd want Big Blue. Big Blue is like my all-time favorite track in the base Mario Kart 8 game.
I feel like the most important ones to bring back would probably be Hyrule Circuit and Animal Crossing.
Yeah, I mean, Animal Crossing, I love the idea of that one because it changes seasons. So that's a really cool gimmick, but like the track itself is just kind of like, I don't know, it's just a little bland to me.
I'd say like the most important ones to bring back would be those, but that's just because like, okay, if you would do like Nintendo characters in this game as the core gimmick, or you just bring back the concept of it again, I don't know, because it's kind of like, I think it'd be cool to see another Mario Kart track, like a new one based on those franchises. There's so much to go off of. You can do so much with the idea of another Zelda track, another Animal Crossing track. These kind of feel like base, like, oh, let's represent the whole series in this one track, or like the general vibe of the series in that one track. And they could go even further. But I feel like if you had to pick one, I might do one of the F-Zero ones.
Yeah,
honestly.
I would say, like, Big Blue was phenomenal. I mean, that'd be crazy to not bring back Big Blue. That is such a great track.
Yeah, that is true. What about Excite Bike Arena? Because you know they ain't gonna make another Excite Bike track.
No, I don't see that one coming back.
They could do more F-Zeros. They could do more F-Zero tracks.
That's true. They could do like another one. I don't know. I just Excite Bike.
I like Excite Bike Arena. I think it's a fun one.
Oh,
it's
like
a
great track. It's just not I just don't see them remaking that.
Yeah, you know, like what else are you gonna do with it? Like,
yeah,
it's pretty as is. You know, like it's kind of like what you see is what you get, and that's what I like about it. It's a basic one, but that's what's fun about it. And I love the music. I love the aesthetic. I don't know. I think we could probably do Big Blue.
Okay, yeah, let's do Big Blue. I mean, it's really hard to say because, yeah, you're right. Like, they could definitely just, you know, they just remake some other F-Zero track. But really, they put so much time and effort into Mute City and Big Blue Like, it'd be crazy to not bring at least one of those tracks back.
Yeah.
They're definitely, like, those are everyone loves those tracks. They're just so much fun, so creative. Music's amazing.
Well, I will say, in terms of the Mario Kart tracks that we picked, the Mario Kart 8 tracks that we picked so far, this may be my color blindness talking. Seems like we have very similar colors going, just a very blue selection.
We sure love our blue. We gotta pick a Rainbow Road now.
Yeah, part of me is kind of like, maybe we gotta go with something a little warmer, you know? Like, it looks a little blue. Maybe, okay. How about let's pick like one more Mario Kart 8 track, and then we can start whittling it down as time goes on.
We're not allowed to pick a blue one. It has to be a different color.
Yeah. I think if we want another DLC track, I feel like maybe something like Dragon Driftway.
I could see that. That's a good one.
I think that just feels very unique. It's a very cool and a fun track. When it comes to the rest, I mean, like, I don't know. Toad Harbor feels like a pretty base Mario Kart 8 track. Like,
that one's classic. I mean, I'd pick probably Toad Harbor or Sunshine Airport or the Dragon one. Either of those three would be like my pick.
Oh yeah, Sunshine Airport.
That one's a class. That one is like so good. So like Shy Guy Falls is also amazing.
I don't know why I'm getting the vibe about Shy Guy Falls that it would be in the game after Mario Kart 9. I don't know why. I'm just like, that just feels like the second pick.
Yeah.
But I think Sweet Sweet Canyon would be a little lame. It's a good track, but
it's
like,
not bad, but that's definitely it's just a beginner track. You're just picking up the game. You're learning how it works. That's all that really is.
I feel like Toad Harbor.
I think Toad Harbor is the pick. I would say that or Dragon Driftway. One of those two.
Okay, well, we'll do both for now.
Perfect.
So we got 6. We got 6 Mario Kart 8. I think that's a good selection to kind of represent Mario Kart 8 there.
Yeah.
I think that works. Now, do you think we'd get anything from Mario Kart Tour here? And if we do, what would it be?
What I do love about the Booster Course Pass, and I also kind of hate, is that they're preserving all of their tour tracks because, mobile game is not going to last for forever. There's not a way to just play them offline. Because the Mario Kart Tour, the tracks cycle out, so you can't just play all the tracks whenever you want.
It's tricky because Mario Kart Tour, it varies in quality in terms of these tracks so much.
Yeah.
In terms of a lot of them are really cool. Some very truly special courses. And then the others are kind of like the majority of the city courses, which aren't bad. None of them are ever bad. They just all sort of blend in with each other.
They all kind of look the same.
With that being said, I feel like we'd get like 1 or 2 city tracks from Mario Kart Tour represented. And I feel like one of them would be New York Minute. Mainly because that was from the base Mario Kart Tour. Like that was there at the start. And I feel like when I think Mario Kart Tour, I kind of think that one. But I'm not sure. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, I could see New York Minute. That would be also an incredibly boring choice because, like, unless they really spiced it up, which is possible, like, have us
fine.
You know what'd be great? Have us start driving up the buildings and then flying off of them. Then you'll get me excited to play New York Minute. That'd be cool.
Yeah. If they inject a bit more personality in there, and like they have like some billboards and stuff that are like Mario themed, which is fun, but like maybe leaning a little more like New Donk style or something. I don't know.
Or even just New Donk City, like that could be a track too.
I mean, like this, they gotta respect Mario Kart Tour's legacy. They can't just change it like that. They gotta keep it New York Minute, the best course ever. Or Tokyo Blur.
No,
the most forgettable track ever.
The thing is, there are some decent ones. Like Sydney Sprint would actually be a great one to bring back.
Yeah.
Singapore Speedway, another incredible track. I really liked Athens Dash. Those 3 were fun. The other ones are just like, they just kind of exist. So like, there's just not much.
I think for Mario Kart Tour, you take, how about 4? We'll do 4 Mario Kart Tour courses. And I think 1 or 2 has to be the cities. I think 1 or 2 has to be the cities, unfortunately, but there are some standouts there.
Give me Yoshi's Island and the Squeaky Clean Sprint. Those 2.
I think Squeaky Clean Sprint would be a Mario Kart 8 retro track. Weirdly enough, even though we knew what it was designed for.
Of all of the tour tracks that I want to see return, probably like just that one. If we could only pick one, because that one actually doesn't feel flat. It has a lot of depth. It's extremely interesting. It's constantly changing. It's just so cool. I love how creative that track is.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
But I would say for something that was directly from Mario Kart Tour, Ninja Hideaway was kind of a standout. Yeah,
that was
really
really
kind
good.
of a standout. And that was definitely originally from Mario Kart Tour. Alongside Merry Mountain, that was originally from Mario Kart Tour.
Yeah.
Which that one's fun based on like the aesthetic. It's like a very Christmassy aesthetic, so it's kind of like fun for that. But unfortunately, pretty much most of these other ones appeared in Mario Kart 8 first. They really got to figure out how they're going to be representing these retro tracks in the next game. Because I don't know what whatever, if these will be considered Mario Kart 8 tracks or not.
I think it's mostly confusing because, like, they stopped doing city courses. So now that there's non-city courses, like, do we really classify them as tour tracks or not?
I think at the very least, Ninja Hideaway. I think that would be one of my 4 picks for Mario Kart Tour.
I mean, yeah, Ninja Hideaway is a great one. Yoshi's Island is a great one as well.
So Ninja Hideaway, and then you're feeling Yoshi's Island. I think Yoshi's Island may be... That was also originally put in Mario Kart 8 first. I don't really care at this point. I mean, like, it's just kind of whatever feels the best.
I would not be surprised if Nintendo counts them as tour tracks because, yes, they came out first in Mario Kart 8, I have a feeling that all these tracks, they've just been sitting on them for months, and they're like, okay, we're going to make the Booster Course Pass seem more appealing by giving everyone new tracks, but they're not actually new. They've just been kind of like just sitting in queue.
What are they in Mario Kart Tour then? They're not retro tracks. They came from
I
the
don't know.
next game.
You know what? You know what's funny? I bet some of these tracks were actually meant for a brand new mainline Mario Kart, but Mario Kart 8 was doing so well, and they were still doing tour. They're just like, let's put it on tour, or let's put them in both of them.
Yeah, they just kind of designed them, and then they were like, let's just make sure this will run on a phone.
Yeah.
So I think Ninja Hideaway is like one that I think is like super duper Mario Kart Tour. Like that represents Mario Kart Tour, and that was a big like standout originally from the original waves. I think for the next one, Sky High Sundays, it's okay. I don't think it's anything that great.
I like how vibrant the whole thing is, but track design is just like, it's just a bunch of long curves. It doesn't do anything that interesting.
Yeah, and we already have like a dessert themed like track in the game with Sweet Sweet Canyon, and that does everything this does and then some, you know. So I'm just like, eh. So yeah, I'd be down to take like Yoshi's Island or Squeaky Clean Sprint. It's tricky because both of those courses are like some of the most joy I felt from a Mario Kart track in some time. To be fair, we haven't had new Mario Kart tracks for some time.
In a while. Nostalgia-wise, Yoshi's Island was my favorite, but if I'm thinking about like new content, definitely Squeaky Clean. The only thing with Yoshi's Island is I do feel like the track design itself is maybe a little on the simple side, but they jam-pack so many references and add so many Yoshi's Island specific characters, and the music is perfect. They like replace all the sound effects, give us Yoshi coins. Like they really went all out on the Yoshi's Island theme.
Yeah, they did, which I think kind of maybe pushes it over the edge, but I don't know, because like I had this dumb smile on my face when I was playing Squeaky Clean Sprint because of just how imaginative it was. I just thought it was so fun. It just like when you go down the drain, I was like,
oh, that was so cool. And
like,
then
you see,
the wedding ring, like the wedding ring.
Yeah, the
was,
wedding ring.
That was so funny. Like that's such a clever idea, and then it's like a shortcut. That's so cool.
I loved it. It was so fun. Oh, God, I'm trying to think which one you pick.
We're trying to like imagine like what is Nintendo's mindset, not our personals, because like personally, I'd probably still pick Yoshi's Island.
Let's just go Yoshi's Island because Yoshi's Island kind of follows the non-Mario themed Nintendo track thing where it's like, oh, the coins are different. They have like a different startup theme, kind of like the F-Zero tracks. Even though Yoshi is a part of the Mario franchise, but whatever.
Yeah.
So I think that obviously makes it far more unique. Squeaky Clean Sprint is as fun and cool as it is. It's just kind of another Mario Kart track. And I think Yoshi's Island may just represent something a little more grander in the grand scheme of things. So I think I'll go with Yoshi's Island. In terms of the other two, that would be just the basic, stupid-ass little city tracks.
You know what? If I had to pick one, I would pick Los Angeles Laps because I want Nintendo to get another shot at the music because I really don't what they did with the music. They got rid of the ba-ba-bas from the original that made it so charming. They're just gone in the remake, so come on, let's bring it back because the track itself isn't bad. Like, I kind of like it. I think it's really cool. Driving around the beach, going into the city and stuff.
That is true. Yeah, I'm trying to think because like it's really hard to look back at all these tracks and be like, oh yeah, that one. Because most of the tour tracks, I honestly mostly just remember for the music. And I remember elements of it, but it's mostly like Sydney Sprint, that music is super fun.
Great.
And I remember
Bangkok
some
Rush,
elements of the track design.
Berlin Byways, all great music.
It's just the track design, when it comes down to it, it works, but they just don't leave as much of an impression on me. But I would say, I mean, like, you're not going to have entire winners on here. But I'm kind of like, is this about getting a good track selection, or is this about representing the game that it's from? I don't think Nintendo really cares about representing the games. I think it's just about, like, picking some good tracks.
I mean, if they really cared about that, they probably wouldn't have, recreated so many Super Circuit tracks, because I don't think Nintendo's trying to represent their Game Boy Advance game 2023, 2022.
Yeah.
I think it really comes down to, like you said, like, the tracks themselves, the music, the general theming is probably, like, what they're like going for.
I would say for the first city track, Athens Dash. I like that one.
Yeah,
I think
fun.
Out of all the city tracks, that one feels the most Mario Kart-y, because it just kind of feels like something where if you took out Athens from it, it would just kind of feel like a basic Mario Kart track. I think I'll pick that one. And then for the final one,
did we write down New York Minute yet? I don't remember. We picked that one.
I mean, I was just whatever. I was fighting for it, but I don't even know
Honestly,
why.
I feel like that one's going to end up getting picked.
It has a bit of a different vibe. It's at night and all that.
I mean, so is...
And it was the first one.
So is Moonview Highway and Toad's Turnpike. They're kind of... it's funny, because, like, since I've played all the Mario Kart games so recently, I didn't realize how many nighttime city tracks there are. There's Mushroom City from Double Dash, Toad's Turnpike, Moonview Highway, New York Minute, Singapore Speedway, Vancouver Velocity. I think I just listed off like 6 of them. There might be more. There's a lot.
They could do something different. They could put it in like I don't know, in the remake they could put it in like at dusk or something.
Maybe. You know what?
I don't know.
You know what's really funny about this is that in New York Minute, you actually drive through the same street that the Nintendo store is on in real life. So how about an opportunity to potentially drive through the Nintendo store, or even just like a weird version of it where like you drive through, there's a bunch of like shelves with Mario merch on it and stuff. Yeah. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, they could definitely do something like that. I would love that. And they've done stuff similar. I mean, like there's so many Mario Kart tracks. I mean, at least like Ribbon Road I know has like some Yoshi dolls in there. They could do that. If they don't do that to New York Minute, I mean, like, come on. Man, just give it something.
I feel like they gotta do it. Or just let us drive up a building and then glide off into the city. That would also be really, really cool.
Well, I think we got Mario Kart Tour down. So what about Mario Kart 7? What would you pull from Mario Kart 7? I will say Mario Kart 7's track list, it's not my favorite. It's okay. I think the new track list, it's fine. There's some standouts, but for the most part, a lot of these are a little like forgettable in my opinion.
So how many tracks are we gonna go with? Are we thinking like 2 or 3?
Oof. I think we could do like 3 at most.
Okay.
I just did 4 from Mario Kart Tour just because it's once again one of the newer ones.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of tracks to pull from. And also, it's just like Mario Kart 7 at this point. I mean, Mario Kart 7 was basically remade in its entirety from Mario Kart Tour. That's pretty much all Mario Kart Tour is. And then on top of that, we've got a lot of them in Mario Kart 8. I'd say 3. I feel like we don't want to pick stuff that was remade in base Mario Kart 8.
No.
I don't know what more you do with Music Park. At that point, just do another music-themed course. Like, just do a new one.
Yeah, I think you have to give it more time, honestly. Because, look, as much as I want to pick Rainbow Road again, because I absolutely adore the 3DS Rainbow Road, I won't pick it again. There's actually still, there's a few in here that really deserve remakes. Like, the 2 that I would pick, at least, is Maka Woohoo, Mario Shipyard. Those are both really, really solid tracks.
Yeah. I would say one of the Woohoo courses would be cool.
Yeah, Loop or Maka Woohoo. Either or would be great.
I think maybe Woohoo Loop, just because it was the first one. On top of that, I mean, Wario Shipyard would be good.
That's a great one.
Maybe Mario Circuit if we need kind of a basic Mario Circuit, because that's a decent one. I like that you go in the castle for that one.
Yeah, that one's cool.
A lot of these are just a little basic to me. Like Cheap Cheap Lagoon, that's pretty much just like a starter's course for the water gimmick in the game.
Shy Guy Bazaar is okay. That one's not bad.
Yeah.
I also think the Bowser's Castle in this one is fairly underrated. It does a lot. It's not like an incredible Bowser's Castle, but I do like how it is kind of constantly changing inside the castle. Like you go in, And then next thing you know, there's this spinning barrel. You're thrown into water. There's lava shooting out of the water, and you come back out. And then, yeah, I mean, that one has a lot of interesting ideas, and they could probably, whatever the next gimmick is, the next Mario Kart game, I think they could do a lot with that track.
But you know what? I'm kind of thinking with your original picks, because I just started imagining what you could do with Wario Shipyard in HD, and it seems really cool in my head, like with more detail and just like, I don't know,
100%.
just like, ooh, I mean, like you could just have like these giant strikes of lightning and all of this. And oh man, like that just seems really cool in HD. So I think Woohoo Loop, Wario Shipyard. If we want to do a third, you know, we can cut it later. Bowser's Castles have been greatly like disrespected throughout Mario Kart 8, you know?
I would say if we want to pick a Bowser's Castle, let's wait until we get to Mario Kart Wii, because that's like the best one. Because we don't have to pick 7. We can pick another one.
If we want a basic, you know, just circuit, I think Mario Circuit would be cool.
It's not bad.
But so many of these have been brought back in Mario Kart 8. They seem so fresh, and they also seem so, like, you know, I mean, like, I don't really care about Rosalina's Ice World. Like, that one's fine.
I'm
like,
honestly kind of disappointed in that one. Because I feel like they could have incorporated elements of, like, the Comet Observatory. But it's like just an ice place, and they just put Rosalina in the front. Like, okay, this is Rosalina's place, I guess.
One of the most basic names ever. One of the most like lame names. It seems like the opposite problem with Water Park in Mario Kart 8, where it just seems like you could call that like, oh, Wario's Water Wonderland or something. No, I just call it Water Park.
Exactly.
It's just it's completely themed around Wario, but they just call it Water Park. So we got our 3 tracks from Mario Kart 7. That moves us into Mario Kart Wii, which is also in an interesting situation because pretty much most of its heavy hitters were brought back in the Booster Course Pass. It felt like the Booster Course Pass knew for a fact how much like nostalgia there is for Mario Kart Wii right now, and how good a lot of those tracks were in that game. Base Mario Kart 8 barely brought back any Wii tracks of note. It was just Moo Moo Meadows and Grumble Volcano. We got Wario's Gold Mine as DLC, but very strange how like I don't know, like it took until the Booster Course Pass to get like a lot of the heavy hitters from Mario Kart Wii, because to be fair, Mario Kart 7 kind of took a lot of the big ones, you know, with Mushroom Gorge and Coconut Mall, Koopa Cape,
Maple Treeway.
Jesus, they
Moonview
brought back
Highway.
a lot.
I mean, I'm looking at this list. It's actually insane. I think like 10 or 11 of these are in Mario Kart 8 now.
That's kind of hard. This is kind of tricky.
There are 2 picks that I think would be great to remake. And I'm just going to say now, Toad's Factory, Bowser's Castle. Both fantastic tracks. And Toad's Factory would be a good one because it's a more basic one. It'd be a great one to like just kind of like introduce people to the retro picks. Then Bowser's Castle on Wii is just the craziest Bowser's Castle we've ever had. Would absolutely adore to have that one brought back, especially with like all the new mechanics like the gliding. Because you could do a bunch of stuff with the gliding now. They could add like underwater sections if they wanted. They could do a lot still with how crazy that track is.
I definitely agree. I think Toad's Factory is way overdue for a remake. I mean, to be fair, we're kind of naming the ones that have not been brought back into Mario Kart 8. But to also be fair, the Booster Course Pass isn't really doing a lot to these stages. You know, they aren't really rethinking them or giving them like a huge like whatever. So it's just like you could potentially bring back Koopa Cape and go like crazy with it, but I think like at the same time, I'm not really like begging for these stages to come back because they're so fresh in our memory. I think like the ones you said right there are just good tracks, and like I would love to see them get brought back. I might add on top of that, Dry Ruins, I kind of like. I think that's a good desert stage. I think you could do a lot if you remake that in HD and you just kind of give it, like, you can just kind of make it feel so much bigger, especially going into, like, that tomb. I think, if we want to do 3, I mean, like, how many more can we really do? It's pretty much just circuit tracks after that.
It's hard because Nintendo is, at this point, has remade so many in 8 that there's not even that many to pick from after that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I'd be surprised if they bring back, like, Koopa Cape again. The only track I could see them bringing back multiple times in a row is, like, Waluigi Pinball. That's probably about it. And maybe like SNES Rainbow Road again for whatever reason. I don't know why Nintendo likes that track so much.
It's a classic. It's I think it's
yes.
A lot of it is the music. That is the quintessential Rainbow Road theme, I guess. But I will personally advocate for Dry Ruins as the 3rd Mario Kart Wii track. I feel like Mario Kart Wii would deserve 3 courses. But I mean, like, I think the 2 you mentioned are like the 2 musts. And then after that, I don't really know what you do because everything else is in Mario Kart 8, or it's like a basic circuit track.
Maybe Daisy Circuit, because I think that one, everyone has a lot of like a fond appreciation for Daisy Circuit. I could kind of see that one.
That is true. Mario Circuit isn't bad in Mario Kart Wii either, but
We already picked the 7 one though.
yeah, I mean, there's multiple Mario circuits in every Mario Kart game, so I never know.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Between Dry Ruins and Daisy Circuit, which one do you think?
Probably Dry Ruins, just because it's a little more interesting. You know, it's really, this is going to sound a little random, but I was playing a mod, TLDR, it was a Mario Kart 8 mod, and someone recreated Dry Ruins. And you know the section when you go like into the pyramid thing and there's the half pipes? What they did to recreate that is they turned it into anti-gravity and they kind of like twirled the roads. And they made that section work way, way better than with half pipes. So I could see like Nintendo really going wild with inside the pyramid, because as it is right now, adding half pipes in those parts doesn't really make sense. Yeah, I think there's actually a lot they could do to like really alter Dry Ruin.
Yeah, I think with that half pipe and just with like all the sand filling up in there too, like I don't know, I just kind of feel like there's a lot you can do. You can remix that course, you can make it look gorgeous in HD. I think that would be a good third pick. But then moving into Mario Kart DS, a lot of these tracks have been brought back in one way or another, but a lot of them I feel like deserve a second chance.
100%.
You know, I'm looking at a couple here. I mean, like, the classic track Yoshi Falls, the damn circle, basically. It's just, that'd be fun to see. Just because I think that track is so silly, like how basic it is. I'm immediately seeing, like, Luigi's Mansion. I think that would be
that's
incredible to see.
Airship Fortress. I want to see Airship Fortress too. That's a good
a lot of the ones that got brought back in Mario Kart 7 I think deserve another chance. I mean, Delfino Square, got remade in Mario Kart Wii, but I think in HD, like fully like just brought back, that would be incredible.
Oh yeah. You know what I always found interesting about that track is the dock. So like, you know, like when you get into the town near the end and there's that random dock that you can just kind of like drive down, but there's no purpose to it. Aside of like potentially taking a shortcut. I feel like a lot more could be done. Like maybe you add a ramp so you can like more easily get down to that dock and take a shortcut, but you need like a mushroom to like actually get across. I feel like adding in like things like that would be really, really interesting. And then there's the bridge, of course, that opens up. You could add a gliding section.
There's a lot you can do here, especially kind of bringing these into HD. I think my 3 picks would be Luigi's Mansion, Delfino Square, and Airship Fortress. I think those would be kind of my 3 picks.
I don't know why, I just feel like Waluigi Pinball is going to be in the game again. It's like too popular. Like, it doesn't need to be in another Mario Kart game. I just think it's going to happen.
Everybody loves Waluigi Pinball, but I feel like you could take that concept and go even further with it, because so little of the track is actually on the pinball table. I think you could do so much with it. As good as the track already is, I think you could start, like, you could do another pinball track. You could do you could just call it Waluigi Pinball for this game, you know, kind of how they do with Mario Circuits or whatever.
I'm just saying, I don't know when. It could be DLC several years after the new Mario Kart comes out. We're gonna get Waluigi Pinball in some form again.
Man,
can't escape it.
You know what? I'll add that. I'll add that. Just why not? We'll add that. We'll have 4 DS tracks.
All right.
Why not?
I'm down with that.
Next up, we have the cult classic, one of the most unique Mario Karts. I don't even know why I call it a cult classic. I just feel like because like Mario Kart Wii has kind of taken over that like fan favorite territory right now. Like that's kind of what everybody looks back at and like, God damn. Even me, like, I used to violently hate Mario Kart Wii just because of how unbalanced it felt back in the day and how difficult it was. But now it's like my favorite Mario Kart to play, like whatever. Like if I'm picking a Mario Kart to play with friends, I'm going to pick Mario Kart Wii just because of how much chaos there is with that game and how fun it is to go back to it.
If you use Funky Kong in the Flame Runner, then you're good. Like
it
takes a minute. Dude, oh my god, it's great. I love that combo.
I'm not going to cheap out like that.
It makes the game fun.
I know, but still, that's not to disrespect Mario Kart Double Dash, which has some great courses. I'm looking at the list right here, and I don't know. Which ones do you think?
There's something I want to point out that I find very fascinating about one of these tracks, Peach Beach. And the reason for that is this track is kind of ruined because of the fact that like the main gimmick of Peach Beach is avoiding the water. That works really well in Double Dash, but like Mario Kart 7, Mario Kart 8, now you can drive through the water. So where's the challenge? That track, now? Like there is virtually no challenge. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's say if they were to make Peach Beach, they would have to drastically change how that section of the track works because it's like completely broken now with how water works.
Well, Peach Beach, got brought back so early on, it got brought back in Mario Kart Wii. So I feel like it could definitely get a remake, and definitely feel like, oh man, like you're doing something different with this. So I would actually say, yeah, sure, let's do Peach Beach. Who cares?
Okay. You know what? Why
Let's
not?
go with it.
I'd be genuinely interested to see how they make that track work in the current era because I don't know how you would do it.
I think they could do some really cool stuff with it. But in addition, how about a track that's never been brought back? A track that's very complicated. How about Wario Coliseum? That would be interesting to see.
Of course.
We gotta see it.
I'm kind of shocked like that. Everyone loves Wario Coliseum and DK Mountain.
And then for like a third Double Dash course, I mean, what are you thinking here? I feel like, you got to bring back a Rainbow Road. I mean, how about Double Dash Rainbow Road?
I would say either the Double Dash one or Super Circuit, just because if there's any sort of structure Nintendo has held recently is that the Rainbow Roads that they remake are in order, because Mario Kart 7 had Super Mario Karts, Mario Kart 8 had 64s. So I feel like the likelihood of the Super Circuit Rainbow Road getting a remake is fairly high. But you know what? Who knows? It could be the GameCube one, which I feel like it'd be more interesting.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely going to be just like more of a spectacle.
100%.
Just with the layout. I feel like Super Circuit Rainbow Road, at least right now, I feel like that'd be better suited off for DLC. If this would be a base roster, if this would be included in the game. I feel like Mario Kart 64's Rainbow Road in Mario Kart 8, when that was first initially revealed, felt like wow, like, oh man, this looks so beautiful, and it's so great to hear that music again. I don't see the same thing happening for Mario Kart Super Circuit's Rainbow Road. It just kind of feels like, okay, that's in the game.
Oh, they would have to drastically... Well, the thing is like, look at the other Super Circuit tracks that have been remade.
That is true.
I mean, like,
that is
Ribbon
true.
Road, Cheeseland, just as a couple examples, feel nothing like the originals. So I feel like they could do something really, really creative with the Super Circuits. But yeah, I mean, I honestly agree. I feel like GameCubes probably would be just a lot more interesting, definitely more of a spectacle.
That is tricky then, because I feel like we can't just have 2 Double Dash courses. I mean, what about Mushroom Bridge? What about Mushroom City?
That's a good one.
I kind of like Mushroom. Yeah. I feel like Mushroom Bridge, like you were saying, pretty much all the city tracks are at night. I feel like Mushroom Bridge might be kind of fun.
That'd be cool.
And that was remade in a DS, I believe.
Yes, it was a lot worse on DS. Like the DS one didn't have the bomb cars, didn't have Wiggler. You couldn't ride up the bridge, like the sides of the bridge. I thought that was always so cool. There's a lot of things missing from it. So yeah, if they brought it back, they could include all those things again. And yeah, it'd be awesome.
I don't know. I think I'd go with Mushroom Bridge. I feel like that feels like almost a long forgotten track at this point. Just because like it only got brought back in DS, and then it's just kind of like, all right, that's it. And I feel like it has a bit of variety. I think it's interesting. I don't know. How about that? Are you cool with adding Mushroom Bridge?
I would be very down with the Mushroom Bridge remake.
But then we need a Rainbow Road. But that pretty much guarantees Super Circuit. I don't know how I feel about that. I get the consistency, but man.
Well, even just think back to Mario Kart 64's remake in 8. That track is so drastically different from the original. Like, I feel like we would get something like that again, where it's like, wow, this is basically a whole new track, but it's technically from Super Circuit.
That is true.
So,
okay.
I don't know.
I'll write it down for now just to keep it in our mind.
Okay.
But... that's a light ad.
We could remove it later.
Yeah, for sure. Moving on to the ugly duckling of the franchise, kind of. It's Super Circuit. I grew up with Super Circuit. Yeah, I grew up with this game. I loved it. This was my portable Mario Kart, but I never have to play it again. But that's just, I still have a lot of respect for it. Taking a look at the track list, at least like when we... It's been a while since I played any of these tracks from the base game, and like looking at it, I feel like you kind of have to partially look at them from the perspective of their themes rather than their layouts. Just kind of think about what can you do with this.
At this point, how they look really doesn't matter because Nintendo can fix it and make it any of these tracks look incredible. And you know what's interesting? I'm like looking at this list. I honestly think they picked pretty much all the good ones. Threw them into Mario Kart 8. Like, the only things that I can think of that could still be pretty cool is like Lakeside Park, because they did Riverside Park for a booster course. That one was pretty solid. Lakeside Park is actually pretty different because there's a volcano that erupts in the background. And on the last lap, volcano rock like crashed down onto the course. That would be super cool to see remade in HD. Luigi Circuit has the whole rain thing. I imagine they could do something interesting with that.
I was definitely gonna advocate for Luigi Circuit. I think with the rain, you can yeah.
That'd be cool.
Exactly what you said.
Outside of those two, I don't really know because like I said, they remade pretty much all of the really interesting.
I would be down to see Sky Garden get another chance because I think the Mario Kart 8 variant is very, very underwhelming.
Yeah.
I think they could definitely do something more with that.
Same with Sunset Wilds. That one's kind of underwhelming too. Like, where's the sun? Like, it doesn't go from sunset to night. I don't know why.
Yeah. So I think Lakeside, Sky Garden, Sunset Wild, Broken Pier. I mean, it's pretty much like, yeah, it's pretty much just a variant of Boo Lake at that point. But I don't know. At least Boo Lake has the whole like, hey, go underwater thing. They did some cool stuff with that in Mario Kart 8.
Maybe a Bowser Castle. They could remake one of those.
That is true. And I like the Bowser Castles from GBA. That I really remember just mostly because of the music. But, you know, they remade those in Mario Kart Wii. So we could pick one that hasn't been remade.
Maybe like Bowser Castle 4, because I know 2 and 3 have been remade a couple of times, or at least once. Bowser Castle 1 was remade in Mario Kart 7, I think.
Did they do a GBA Bowser Castle in Wii and 7?
Yes.
Or was it an SNES? Wow. Yeah, so they've already remade these. They've already remade Bowser Castle from Super Circuit quite a few times. And I don't like how it's Bowser Castle. It's just Bowser Castle, not Bowser's. It's just a Bowser Castle.
There's only one.
How about this? I think Lakeside Park.
Okay.
That gives us a bit of a unique one. I would say, how about one from the Booster Course Pass that was a bit underwhelming? Something like Sky Garden or Sunset Wilds.
I would say let's go with Sky Garden. Because that,
yeah.
Man, I don't hate it. I like that they brought it back, but it's like too different. It just doesn't feel at all like the original.
Yeah, and it just, I don't know. Like, you could just do so much with it. And then, like, do we want to put Rainbow Road, and then we can decide later which one we're picking, GCN or GBA?
I think we should probably do that.
Yeah, so add that. But Luigi Circuit has that rain.
Oh.
That unique rain.
And don't forget, it's got puddles, too.
That is true. That is very true. You can do so much with those puddles. I think, oh man. I do like a good Shy Guy Beach.
Shy Guy Beach is good. They remade that, I think, in Wii.
They did. And you could go back and kind of give it a bit of a unique flavor. I don't know. One more. Which one are you thinking?
Bowser Castle 4.
Bowser Castle 4. There we go, baby.
We'll throw it in.
All right. So we got 2 more games to take a look at. 64, which pretty much all of these tracks have been remade in some way, shape, or form. All but one. And yep. I may vouch for this one. But then again, we do have Wario Coliseum, so that's kind of like, you know, I feel like they'd pick one or the other, you know.
I would definitely prefer Wario Coliseum over Wario Stadium.
It feels so lonely being the last one, you know? The only one that hasn't been remade.
You know what, though? I mean, some of these were only remade in DS. Like Banshee Boardwalk, I feel like a lot could be done with Banshee Boardwalk.
Yeah, especially because we didn't pick any of the whatever, like Boo Lake or Broken Pier from GBA. So I don't think we really have any of the spooky courses in here, you know?
I don't think so. Yeah.
I'm down to pick Banshee Boardwalk.
And honestly, we could just do like 1 or 2 because we're getting pretty close to 16 or probably over it.
Yeah, I feel like the 64 picks in which 64 tracks were in 8? Toad's Turnpike, Rainbow Road. Was there anything else?
Well, if we're counting Booster Course Pass, now it's Calamari Desert, Choco Mountain.
Oh, Royal Raceway.
Yoshi Valley as well. So actually, like half of them.
Yeah, I think when Mario Kart 8 came out, it was kind of like when 64 was kind of the one everybody looked back at and went, ah, memories. Wow, look at that. That was when Mario Kart was Mario Kart. And now I think now we're more so in like the Mario Kart Wii territory of like what people look back on. So 64 is kind of hard to look back and be like, man, like we gotta have like this back, especially with like how well these tracks translated over to Mario Kart 8. I don't know. I feel like maybe you could redo Moo Moo Farm, give it the Moo Moo Meadows treatment.
Moo Moo Farm, I think, would be great. Yeah, if they don't bring back Meadows.
Was that brought back in DS?
Moo Moo Farm was in DS, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Let's bring that one back.
That one's
Why
cool.
not?
You know what? Hot take, I like Moo Moo Farm more than Meadows.
Wow.
I know, crazy take.
I think the Mario Kart 8 version is beautiful. I love the remix of that, and I love how it looks. It's so perfect. I love that. And if you do something similar to Moo Moo Farm, I think that would be lovely. But I'm thinking also maybe a Koopa Troopa Beach. I think that might be good to bring back. Yeah, that was brought back in 7.
And it's in Tour, too. And the Tour version really changed it up a lot in terms of like how you get into the shortcut cave. So I could kind of see them doing that as well.
Yeah. But I'm also kind of thinking, like, how many beach courses do we have? We have Peach Beach. I mean, have they done, like, 2 beach courses in a retro pack before? I mean, Mario Raceway is okay. Like, I mean, but, like, I don't know.
Not bad.
It's okay.
Luigi Raceway. Gotta bring that one back.
Perfect course. What about DK's Jungle Parkway?
Honestly, that one's pretty good, too.
We'll do Koopa Troopa Beach. Or how about Sherbet Land?
Okay, I could see Sherbet Land.
Do we have many,
Any ice tracks? We do not.
We do have Mount Wario.
Yeah. But we could probably have like a couple, because even this game has Frappe Snowland and Sherbet Land.
Oh, Frappe Snowland, when was that brought back?
Mario Kart DS.
Damn, we can't just keep picking DS the tracks remade in DS, though. That's the problem.
That track is also in Mario Kart Tour. See, it's so hard because, like, there's so many Tour tracks that have been remade. It's really, really hard to remember now. Because, like, probably like, most of these tracks are in Mario Kart Tour. I just don't even remember that they are.
This is a little tricky just because 64 has been had these courses remade to death,
I mean, we could just pick, like, 2, and that's it.
Yeah. How about Koopa Troopa Beach? We can go with that one.
Yeah, sure.
The 2 we picked were already remade from DS, so I kind of want to pick one that wasn't remade in DS just for variety's sake. But then we move down to the big one. The stupidest one to pick.
Super Mario Kart.
Super Mario Kart, the original.
Oh boy.
I don't know how we pick. I think it's mostly just down to just like picking one at random, honestly, Like it just, who cares?
No, I will say this. The only variant of Super Mario Kart that's never been remade outside of Mario Kart Tour is Vanilla Lake. So I could kind of see Vanilla Lake actually working very well because it has pockets of ice that could be turned into like brand new underwater sections to kind of make the track a little more interesting. So I could see 1 or 2 being redone. Outside of that, I genuinely don't know how to pick because all the tracks are pretty much just the same thing. They've all been remade. I mean, even in Mario Kart 8, Mario Circuit 3 on SNES was made for some reason, which feels like a waste. But like, they did it.
I would say maybe a Choco Island and a Vanilla Lake.
Let's pick Choco Island 1 because 2's already been remade.
Oh, thank God, yeah. Can't have that.
That's my only reason for picking that.
I think just Choco Island brings a bit of variety here because Vanilla Lake, we have a couple of ice courses already. And Choco Island, I don't even know what you consider. It's a chocolate course. So, like, and we don't have any of those.
Yeah.
So, sure, why not? How about Vanilla Lake 2? Because that one has a giant pocket of, like, water that you can fall in, so you can do something different with that,
So my only objection to that is the fact that it's basically just a big circle. So I feel like there's probably not much you could... I mean, yeah, maybe you could, like, go into the water.
Could do some fun things with that.
Maybe. They would have to, like...
Really fun things with that.
I mean, I don't really care. Like, either 1 or 2 is fine. I just feel like 1
I've never heard somebody so apprehensive towards one Vanilla Lake getting at it over another.
Well, actually, we gotta go with Vanilla Lake 1.
Vanilla Lake 1. Vanilla Lake 1,
like,
guys!
Clearly that one's so much better. Like, what are you thinking?
I'm down for whatever. We can just say a Vanilla Lake.
Yes, Vanilla Lake 1 or 2.
Vanilla Lake. That's pretty much it. Now, I mean, to be fair, I've always thought, like, when you run out of retro courses, you could maybe pull from the arcade games, but I feel like that's a little tricky. And also, the arcade games have pretty basic layouts. Like, they are kind of just, like, short loops. that aren't anything special.
It is very cool that like Pac-Man and stuff is in the game, and there's like a ton of items.
Maybe like for this game's booster course pass, I think it would be cool to dip more into like whatever, like, oh, and Mario Kart arcade tracks, and then they could do like what they do with Mario Kart Tour and kind of mix them up. I also think it would just be kind of cool to maybe do something like release them as like downloadable games or digital games or something. Just, oh, you can play Mario Kart Arcade GP like on the eShop or something. But
that'd be pretty neat.
I think that might be like when they really get to the bottom of the barrel. But I'm not even sure if Nintendo, like, it might be kind of like a thing. You got to go to Namco for those tracks, because maybe they hold some of the copyright with that. So this is our current list, and then let me see how many we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Okay, so if we wanted to pick 32 retro tracks, not bad.
You know what?
We only picked 34.
What if we just...
But if we want to...
We could just be like, hey, this is our 32 picks.
Well, here's the thing. Because we have 2 Bowser Castles. I think if you have 32 tracks, it would be cool to have 2 Rainbow Roads. So I think we're in the clear. I was about to say, like, oh, well, we just cut one of the Rainbow Roads and cut one of the Bowser Castles. But I feel like that'd be kind of cool. It makes a lot of sense. We have Bowser's Castle from Wii, Bowser Castle GBA. And then we have Rainbow Road GBA and Rainbow Road GCN, which I think is actually kind of cool. I kind of like having one super retro and then one more 3D and modern. So if we have to cut 2 to get a core 32, which ones would we cut here?
You know what? Let's cut the Vanilla Lake SNES. We'll just have like one SNES track, because like I don't think anyone really cares to have SNES tracks remade at this point.
Okay, so let's kind of look at the themes we got here. So Electrodrome, whatever, super unique, nothing else really like it. Mount Wario, Ice. Cloudtop Cruise, Sky. Big Blue, Nintendo, sure. Toad Harbor, kind of a city kind of thing. Dragon Driftway, pretty unique, nothing else really like it. Ninja Hideaway, well, you know, Dragon Driftway and Ninja Hideaway are a little similar, but nothing crazy. They're not the same, but at least, like, if we gotta cut things, I think they're unique enough. Yoshi's Island, pretty unique. I'll write that as
we can't
Nintendo just because, Athens Dash, it is a city. New York Mini, city. Woohoo Loop, kind of a city, kind of a...
Nintendo City.
Not really. Yeah, Nintendo/city. Wario Shipyard, Water Pirate. Mario Circuit, basic. Toad's Factory. That's a factory theme. Bowser Castle, Bowser. Dry Ruins, Desert.
Not even a castle, it's just Bowser. I like that.
Yeah, Luigi's Mansion, Spooky. Delfino Square, that's a city.
It is.
There's a lot of cities.
It's a Nintendo city again.
Airship Fortress, I'll say that's unique. Waluigi Pinball, that's pretty unique. Peach Beach, that's
beach.
Beach. Wario Coliseum, pretty unique. I don't really know what else you can classify that under. Mushroom Bridge, yet another city. Rainbow Road, DK Mountain, jungle kind of thing. Lakeside Park, what would you consider Lakeside Park?
This is also a jungle.
All right, jungle. Sky Garden, clouds. Or sky, yeah,
or sky. Yeah.
Rainbow Road, Bowser Castle, that's a Bowser. Banshee Boardwalk, spooky. Moo Moo Farm, just
farm.
Farm course. Koopa Troopa Beach, a beach course. And Choco Island, that is a chocolate course. So pretty good overall in terms of variety, though I think the one thing that sticks out that we picked a lot of are the city courses. So I think we could
There's just so many.
Yeah. So which of these city courses do we not need?
I'd want to get rid of New York Minute, but I don't think that'll happen.
To be fair, I don't really think Athens Dash feels like a city. Like the way they do it is more so ruins.
Like an ancient city.
Yeah, so honestly, yeah, let's get rid of New York Minute.
I think that's it, because we cut the Vanilla Lake as well.
Yeah, so we got 32. We got 32. Now, let's cut half of this, and let's get a 16 track roster. I think this could be pretty quick. So Mario Kart 8 is definitely super represented here.
Let's get rid of Cloud Top Cruise.
Yeah, because we're giving Sky Garden a second chance. And I don't know what else you really do with Cloud Top Cruise.
Right. Maybe we get rid of Dragon Driftway as well, because Ninja Hideaway is kind of similar.
We could just have Yoshi's Island and Athens Dash for our Mario Kart Tour tracks, you know?
I'd be fine with that. Rid of Ninja Hideaway.
Yeah. Get rid of that. Okay. So then we have Woohoo Loop, Wario Shipyard, and Mario Circuit for Mario Kart 7. I know it sounds stupid, but I think we gotta keep Mario Circuit because we don't really have any basic ones. I don't know. I kind of like that selection though. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, we could maybe cut Wario Shipyard, but that's a good track. That's a weird one to cut.
I don't know. Let's skip that. I mean, we got a lot of DS courses here. Luigi's Mansion, Delfino Square.
Let's cut both of those.
Yeah, as much as I'd like to see Delfino Square come back, we got Toad Harbor, we got Woohoo Loop.
Yeah, I think those two would be enough. And Luigi's Mansion...
I mean, I'd rather have Luigi's Mansion than Waluigi Pinball.
Okay, we can cut Waluigi Pinball.
Yeah, I think Waluigi Pinball is like, that'll come back in some way, but I kind of feel like, you know... Like
probably not like base game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so GCN, we got a lot from Double Dash.
Let's cut out Peach Beach. Do not need that one.
Mario Coliseum I like. Mushroom Bridge I like.
I like that. I feel like we gotta cut it though, because we already have Woohoo Loop and Toad Harbor. It's like it's another city track.
I'd rather cut Toad Harbor.
You know what? So would I.
Yeah.
Let's cut Toad Harbor.
I'd rather cut Toad Harbor. I don't need that in there. So GBA, I would cut Lakeside Park, but that's...
We could cut that one.
But like that one hasn't been remade, you know?
Or we cut Sky Garden.
Yeah, do we have any other Sky courses? Because we cut Cloud Top.
Oh, you're right. We do not.
So
okay,
I think
let's keep that.
You give that another chance.
Let's cut Lakeside because we did get Riverside Park in Mario Kart 8, which is very similar. Like, yeah, they do have different, they have kind of different themes, but they're also kind of the same thing.
We got 3 GBA courses still. We got Sky Garden, Rainbow Road, and Bowser Castle 4.
Let's cut Bowser Castle 4. We already have Bowser Castle on the Wii.
And I feel like they'd be more likely to include 2 Rainbow Roads at this point. Bowser Castle has kind of become the long forgotten tradition in Mario Kart
At this point.
Okay, so we have to cut 8.
This is brutal.
Yeah, this is rough.
Okay, I mean, at this point, I don't see how Nintendo's gonna only give us 16, because there are way too many good tracks for them to not bring to the new game.
So like what? We have 9 Mario Karts to pull 16 tracks from.
That's like impossible. Like they have to do more.
Yeah, one is not gonna get like barely any representation. So I think Mario Kart 8 has a bit too much. Honestly, it's kind of tricky to me.
I hate to do this, but cut Big Blue.
Yeah, it just feels out of place at this point because like we have no other Nintendo tracks represented.
Yeah, I hate to do it, but you gotta cut it. Like, cause that's like my favorite track.
And like at this point, if they would have 16 tracks represented, it's not gonna be like a Nintendo Kart situation, you know? I think it would be like, if they're gonna stick to their basics, 32 tracks, 16 old, 16 new, and it's not gonna be like this big Nintendo party like we're thinking it would be. So, whatever. If it's 16, you can cut Big Blue because it's just gonna be basic Mario stuff. That's 3 Mario Kart 8 courses, and I think that's fair. We still have a fair amount of cities. Woohoo Loop, I feel like is pretty... I kind of want to see Woohoo Loop again. But to be fair, it is just Woohoo Island. It's unique, but... Oh, man.
Let's cut Mushroom Bridge first.
Yeah, I'm kind of like... Mushroom Bridge just feels kind of like...
It's not...
pretty...
I'm sorry, it's not better than Woohoo Loop. I just don't know. We can cut Woohoo Loop. That would be so painful.
But it had... Yeah. Okay, yeah. We'll cut that.
There's still 3 64 tracks. We could remove one of those. And my vote is on Moo Moo Farm or Koopa Troopa Beach. Probably Koopa Troopa Beach.
I think Banshee Boardwalk. Because we keep either that or Luigi's Mansion. Because they're both kind of a ghost spooky track.
Okay, we can cut Banshee.
Then Moo Moo Farm and Koopa Troopa Beach. I kind of like that. And then Choco Island 1, I'm pretty satisfied with that. I think I would want them to cut maybe Rainbow Road from GBA. But Rainbow Road GBA hasn't been done before, but we already have a Rainbow Road on GCN.
I think they gotta cut Sky Garden.
Yeah, but we cut all of our Sky courses. We don't have any more Sky tracks.
I really don't see Sky Garden happening. And like at this point, I feel like all we're doing is just we're like getting rid of our personal favorites at this point.
But it's for the sake of variety. We got a decent lineup here that hits all the notes, you know?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, you know what? Let's get rid of one of the Rainbow Roads. You're right. Really feel like that's the one that's going to get remade. But we can get rid of it for the sake of our list. The Game Boy Advance Rainbow Road.
Double Dash Rainbow Road came back in Wii, right?
No, the GameCube one has never been remade.
I was thinking, what came back in Wii?
None of them. There was no Rainbow Road.
Wow.
They didn't do that until Mario Kart 7. Because even like DS
Wow.
did not have a retro Rainbow Road.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, the last track in DS was Yoshi's Circuit. Ooh.
Ooh, crazy.
Yeah, that's wild.
The last one in Wii is N64 Bowser's Castle, which is an okay
That
pick,
is true.
but like, it's not a Rainbow Road.
I feel like I would have liked to see that one remade as well, but I think you could make that pretty crazy. Yeah, which one do you want to get rid of here?
Let's get rid of the GameCube one because I have faith in Nintendo to be able to make the GBA one incredibly interesting, even though I know it seems very unlikely. Just because it's super flat like Super Mario Kart. But what makes the GBA one so interesting is like on the edges, you know how like you can kind of like jump off of them?
Yeah.
Like that could be turned into trick ramps. And I think if they really like spice up the track, you could pull off some crazy combos with the trick ramps, cover like crazy distance. I think there's just a lot that could potentially be done. So I know it's not the exciting pick, but like I feel like that's what's gonna happen.
Fine, I'll take it. I'll take it. Just to whittle ourselves down here. Maybe Dry Ruins has to get cut.
I feel like Dry Ruins would probably be cut, and they just don't have a desert one, or they have another desert one that we just don't have on our list.
Hey, listen, you know Nintendo. They gotta check all their boxes. You know, they gotta have their desert course, their ice course, all of that stuff.
You know what? Athens Dash is kind of a desert course.
I mean, I'm kind of like Yoshi's Island or Athens Dash, you know? I mean, like, there's gonna be a tour track. As much as I like Yoshi's Island, that's so unique, it kind of feels like it's a special event rather than a Mario Kart track. I know that sounds weird, but, oh, man.
I feel like cutting Yoshi's Island, that just doesn't sound right.
Yeah, but it's like, the layout is fine. It's mostly in the presentation. So how much can you really do to Yoshi's Island other than like, oh, it's really cool? I think we're gonna have to cut a Mario Kart Wii course.
I think we got to get rid of Dry Ruin.
Yeah, if Athens Dash is here, I think you can kind of just throw more sand in there and that's fine.
There's the desert.
Yeah.
They just throw sand in the theater area.
Yeah. So we got to get rid of 3 more.
Dragon Driftway. Because that was technically DLC, and Mount Wario and Electrodrome were like there from the very beginning.
Yeah, and Dragon Driftway is really cool, but it is one I can kind of forget about sometimes.
Yeah, I think Mount Wario and Electrodrome are way more iconic than that one.
Yeah, and I don't really see riots in the street because of Dragon Driftway not being there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to cut 2 more.
I think we got to get rid of Wario Shipyard because we already have Mount Wario. We can't have 2 Wario tracks.
That is very true. That is true. Oh, man, that's rough.
Mount Wario is better. So 1 more. And I think that's it.
Okay, well, that means one game is going to get the shaft, you know, because, like, you know, we have basically 2 from each entry except for SNES.
We got to get rid of Mount Wario or Wario Coliseum because that's another Wario track. Like, Nintendo has never done more than 1 brand new Wario track.
It's above the mantle in their headquarters. Like, you know, the
Yeah,
9
exactly.
rules of Nintendo. Only 1 Wario retro track, no more than that. I mean, sure, but I just feel weird with GCN only getting... You only have 1 Double Dash course, and it's DK Mountain, you know?
I think the issue, this is just not enough picks. Like, I honestly highly doubt it's only going to be 16 now that I'm looking at this, because we have cut out so many fantastic tracks. So it's like, how do you only pick 16 and make everyone happy? That's just not going to happen. There's no way.
Oh, God, I hate this. This is stupid. This is dumb as hell.
I'm picturing Mario Kart 9 right now, and I just don't see a world where only Athens Dash from Mario Kart Tour is the only retro track. It's like such a random pick.
It's kind of desert. It's some sand.
It's the
Just
city
more
desert.
sand in there.
We can cut Yoshi's Island. I'm just gonna feel bad. It does stick out a little bit.
And like, what else can you really do other than just kind of make it visually look a little nicer since it is kind of a tour track?
Let's just cut it.
What else could you live without in here?
None of these.
Well, Mario Circuit you could do without, but we don't have any other. You need to have a Mario Circuit get brought back.
Okay, I could do without Koopa Troopa Beach.
I could too, but we cut all of our beach courses. So I'm kind of like, it adds something. Yoshi's Island, what does that add other than this is a really cool track visually?
Okay, we can cut it, but I just want this to sit with you, that we are cutting Yoshi's Island over Koopa Troopa Beach.
That is true, but it's a Mario Kart game. You need to have that basic-ass beach course.
That's true. Okay, you know what? Just get rid of it. I won't
Get
look.
rid of it. I hate this. Okay.
But I think that's 16.
That is. So, yeah, that's our lineup. We got Electrodrome, Mount Wario, Athens Dash, Woohoo Loop, Mario Circuit, Toad's Factory, Bowser's Castle, Luigi's Mansion, Airship Fortress, Wario Coliseum, DK Mountain, Sky Garden, Rainbow Road, Moo Moo Farm, Koopa Troopa Beach, and Choco Island 1. I don't think that's actually going to be what they do, but I think, like, if we had to pick 16 out of the 32, I think that's a good variety. I think that has a lot of fan favorite tracks. I think you nail most of them right there. I don't know. What do you think?
I am happy with this list, don't get me wrong. I just really liked our list of 34. I'm like, yes, that is solid. Getting rid of, like, GameCube, Rainbow Road, and Yoshi's Island was painful.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god. But, I mean, it's what you got to do. We're only going down to 16. Yeah, I do think this probably does offer a really good amount of variety. Not even just, like, general themes, but there is also a lot of unique picks. Electrodrome, Airship Fortress, Wario Coliseum. Those are very, very standout. I think it's got variety. It's got some basic picks as well, because you need some of those, like Mario Circuit.
Yeah, kept Mario Circuit through it all.
Yeah.
We showed a lot of restraint. I'm very proud of ourselves here.
After all that, we kept Sky Garden as well. I don't know about that one.
Thank God. I could not imagine Mario Kart without Sky Garden.
If I were to change anything, I would probably change Sky Garden with, like, Cloud Top Cruise. Otherwise, yeah, I think this is
right.
pretty good.
This is stupid.